How to become more disciplined. This is hopefully the only video that you need to watch in order to become more disciplined. I'm very excited to talk about this because I'm somebody who was pretty lazy, but I became more disciplined and my life changed a lot. So I believe that a lot of people can benefit from becoming more disciplined. So this is a full guide and I hope that you get a lot of value from it. Now, do I know anything about this? Am I qualified to talk about this? Well, let's see this. I used to be a lazy, fat, and depressed guy, and I became a disciplined man. I went from being fat and overweight to get in shape. Okay, that's something that a lot of people can do. But I also went from being lazy and broke to someone who now I make way more money than I was making before because now I'm way more disciplined and I know how to work and I know on what to work. So that's something that I want to teach you here. And even though I'm not rich, so this is not a video about how to make a lot of money, I'm someone who's making, I don't know, like 20 times what I was making before. So I went from being a lazy person to a more disciplined person. So I do know a lot of things about becoming more disciplined. And in today's video, I'm gonna teach you exactly every single thing that I know. So let's understand discipline first, because how can you become more disciplined if you don't actually even know what it is? Because many people can tell you, oh, be more disciplined, behave, but what are they saying exactly? Well, first thing to understand is that discipline is not a motivation. If you go to the gym every single day and you are motivated to go to the gym, you like going to the gym, well, my friend, you're not using discipline, because discipline is not doing things that you feel like doing. So there's three things that we need to know to differentiate to actually understand discipline. First is motivation. Motivation is doing things that you want to do. So basically that's it. So you want to go to the gym and you go to the gym. Well, you were motivated. You didn't have to use discipline. Discipline, what is discipline? Discipline is doing something that you know you should do, but you don't want to do it. So if you don't want to go to the gym, but you know that you should and you go, then you use discipline to go to the gym. And we got willpower. Willpower is actually resistant temptations. So willpower is basically when you are motivated to do something and you refrain yourself from doing it, you resist the temptation, then now you're using willpower. So for example, you want to eat junk food, but you know that that's not gonna be helpful for you because you are on a diet. So you stop yourself from indulging in that behavior. So now you're using willpower. So, okay, now we understand these three concepts. So let's understand better discipline now. Discipline, the best definition that I found about discipline is the willingness to do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you like it or not. And whether you like it or not, if you do it, that's actually the key to success. It's the key to riches. And discipline is basically doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. That's another good way to put it. I believe this YouTuber Hamza, he says that in a lot of his videos. So that's a pretty good definition of discipline, the way I see it. And I put hard here in quotes because discipline is not just doing the hard work. It's not just doing hard things. It's basically doing things that you don't want to do. That's basically it. For example, if I have a lot of clothes, dirty clothes around my house, and I need to pick them up, right, and put them in where they belong, in the closet or whatever. I don't want to do that, but I need to do it. I need to use discipline to actually do things like that. And you see, it's not basically hard work, it's just that I don't want to do it. So be mindful with that. It's not like I'm gonna send you now to do a lot of hard things. No, it's just doing things that you just don't want to do. Now, first steps to becoming more disciplined. First, I mean, this is very important, and it's define your why. Why do you want what you want? This is what's gonna pick you up after you fail, because you're gonna fall and you might want to stay there, but now you need to stand back up, and your why, it's what's actually gonna pick you up. So define your why, and do you want to become more disciplined? Okay, why? What does that mean for you? What becoming more disciplined can actually do for you? Do you want a better life? Do you want to provide for your family? Do you want to become more successful? Why do you want to become more disciplined? Because otherwise you might lose track of it and just quit. So you need to have a strong why. Well, you also need to define your goals. You need to have clear goals, because otherwise you might lose track of everything. And these two things might look like the same right now, your goals and your why. But no, let me show you. Let me show you so you can understand perfectly. So let's say, for example, I want to get fit. That is the goal, right? Now, why do I want to become fit? That is the why. So, for example, if I want to become fit because I want to attract girls, now I have the goal, which is becoming fit, and the why, which is attracting girls. So, have these very clear, because otherwise you're gonna be like a ship without a course of action, a ship without a rudder, that you're just gonna be on and moving, and you might end up in a place where you don't want to be. So have clear goals and have a clear why, the reason why you're doing something. Something else is that discipline is in the details, in the small actions. We talked a little bit about that before, that it's not just doing the hard things, it's just doing a little things, that some things that we just don't want to do, basically. So making your bed, for example. Many people complain when they hear this. Yeah, making my bed is not gonna make me rich. Yeah, but it's not about that. You're losing the whole point, bro. It's not about making your bed. It's about doing something that you just don't want to do. So if you start your day making your bed, cleaning your desk, or doing something, specifically things that you just don't want to do, you're becoming more disciplined. And when you become more disciplined, that's when your life starts to change. It's not about making your bed, it's about doing something that you don't want to do and you know that you should be doing. That's where discipline is. That's how you start becoming more disciplined. That's why I put this information here in the basically in the beginning, because it's the it's the first step in actually start becoming more disciplined. Again, as I said before, discipline is not just working hard, and I'm gonna show you some pictures that will show you that I've worked very, very hard, even harder than I am right now, and the results that I got were, well, pretty bad. Let's look at this. Was I working harder? What do you think? Was I working harder? You can tell already. What about here? Do I look like I'm working hard? Not even close, my friend. But I used to be way less disciplined on the other two pictures where I was working very, very hard. But on the next picture, the last one, I'm way more disciplined, and I'm not working as hard as I used to be. Oh, by the way, I'm not trying to deceive anyone. So if you see a lot of money on that picture, it's fake money. So I'm not gonna pretend that I'm rich. I just something that I had around for a video that I was making, but that's it. But anyway, I do have way more money than I used to. So yeah, becoming more disciplined has helped me work less hard and achieve more things. So have that in mind, that it's not just working hard, as you will see on the internet many people recommending that. No, it's a lot more than that. Okay, first thing that I want to talk about here is just show up. Just by showing up, you're gonna be ahead of 90% of people. Many people want to start a diet, many people want to start going to the gym, but most of them, they never show up, they never go to the gym, they never start the diet, they just keep postponing things and say, yeah, one day I will do it. Well, my friend, remember that discipline is about doing what you said that you would do, whether you're motivated or not. So, by just showing up, you're actually putting yourself in a place where you can actually do the things that you said that you would do. So, start showing up, and in the beginning, it's not about how you do it, but that you actually do it. So, you want to start going to the gym, it doesn't have to be the perfect workout. Show up, do something, lift some weights, get on a treadmill, do something, just get it done, right? This is the first step in becoming more disciplined. It's actually, well, it might be the second, but anyway, so this is something that you need to start doing right now. It's just showing up. You said that you would do something. Well, my friend, get yourself into that situation where you can actually get it done. And again, as I said before, this will push you ahead of 90% of people, and it's because you're going to create consistency. You're going to be more consistent, and yeah, consistency is the key everywhere. So for example, if you want to become a YouTuber, you might have heard this like 1,000 times already, that consistency is king. Because when you are consistent and you are uploading videos constantly, for example, you're uploading videos every single day, well, chances are that one day the algorithm is gonna pick one of your videos, so you're gonna go viral, and that might change your life. So you see, just by being more consistent, you're actually getting ahead of most people. So the perfect moment will not come. If you keep saying that you're gonna start on Monday, and a lot of Mondays have come already and you have not started, my friend, stop waiting for the perfect time. Just show up, just do it. Just by showing up, you're creating opportunities. As I said, with the example of becoming a YouTuber, by just showing up and uploading content, you're actually creating the opportunity of that one of your video does well, and you actually start becoming like the YouTuber that you want to be. So showing up creates opportunities. Now, just do it. Showing up is pretty good, but it's not always. It's not gonna be good enough, right? Because if you go to the gym every single day, good, fine. A plus, you're doing fine. But now you need to actually start lifting weights now. You have to do something in the gym. It's not like, hey, hello, I'm here, and you're not gonna do anything. No, 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 my friend. You need to get things done. You have to do things. So something to start actually doing something is to not overthink it. If you want to do something and you sit on a chair for 2 hours thinking whether you should do it or not, my friend, you're not gonna do it. If you negotiate with yourself, you're gonna lose. Always, always. So you want to do something and you sit down, let me think if I need to do it. Bro, you're gonna lose and you're not gonna do it. You're gonna start rationalizing with yourself, actually telling yourself lies that sounds very cohesive and they make a lot of sense, and they will guide you or lead you to actually not doing what you said that you would do. So be careful with that. Do not overthink the things. So actually start doing what you said that you would do. Just do it. Here I have an example of someone actually overthinking. So when you overthink, you tend to take no action. That's a fact. And you should know that already, that the more that you think about something, the less likely you are to do it. Oh, by the way, if you're talking to a girl or a boy or whatever, and they tell you, I need to think about it, it's probably they're gonna tell you no. Because the more they think about it, the less likely they are to take action in the direction that you want. So that's why you need to go from overthinking to actually doing things. Pretty good step. I mean, I love this one. Make everything simple. Yeah, you want to show up, you want to do things, but if there is a lot of resistance between you and actually doing the things you said you would do, it's very hard to actually do it. Let's take, for example, YouTube, right? If you want to show up every day and make a video every single day. But every time that you need to make a new video, you have to set up the camera, the microphone, the lights, and everything. Bro, it's gonna be so hard because a lot of the time you're gonna be tired. Maybe you'll make your videos after you get home after a long day of work, and you want to make the video, you want to be more disciplined, you want to become a YouTuber, but setting up the lights and the camera takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and you're tired, you don't want to do it, you might not do it. So that's why you have to make everything simpler or more simple, I don't know. So this is a very good way to actually showing up and doing the things that you need to do. It's by having every single thing way, like having everything in place already. So if you want to upload videos every day, set the cameras one day, the microphone and everything, and just sorry, give me a second. What do you want? Okay, sorry about that, I'm back now. So how can you actually make everything simple? Well, you can create and build systems that allows you to do things faster. You can do things more effective and with less resistance, as we said before. So the more resistance there is between you and the things that you want to do, the less likely you are to actually doing things. Let me take the example of becoming a YouTuber again. So you need to, I mean, the way that I would do it is just to set the cameras, the lights, and microphone in a place and keep it there. So every single day that I get home, for example, I would start recording the videos, and that would make me actually do the things that I said that I would do way easier, because if there's a lot of resistance, I'm not gonna do it. So for example, I have this camera, let's see if you can see it, and I had like something in front of it, and every single time that I wanted to take a picture or make a video, I would use something else. I wouldn't use the camera. And it I don't know, it took like 3 months in that for me to actually remove what was in front of it and use it, because there was resistance between me and actually using the camera. So start removing things that are in the way of what you want to do, because that will make you way easier. We don't want to force ourselves to do the hardest things. No, no, we want to get things done, right? That's why we want to become more disciplined. It's not to drain ourselves to death, it's to actually get things done and get the results that we want. So the more difficult it is to start doing something, the more likely it is that we won't do it. That's a fact. It works. So make everything simple. Attack the dawn. As you said, as you saw before, I got distracted by my daughter. So, and I had to stop working here and go and help her. And it is so hard to be disciplined when you are distracted by other things. So that's why attacking the dawn, it's very, very useful. Why? Because there are less distractions. If I had started making this video, I don't know, 2 hours earlier than when she wakes up, then I wouldn't have that distraction. So it's very difficult to be disciplined also when you're tired. So you get home, you're tired, it's gonna be hard to script the videos or whatever you want to do if you're writing a book. When you're tired, it's not so pleasant to actually do the hard things. So do the most important tasks in the morning when your mind is sharper and the world is quiet. Yes, you're gonna be way less distracted when you wake up earlier because everyone is asleep, so you can actually focus on studying, on reading a book, on getting information that you need for your projects, for your job. So waking up earlier will give you an advantage that most of us don't have. So as the same example with me, you saw it already. I got distracted by my daughter, so I had to stop literally working just because she's already around the house doing her home things, doing everything. So it would have been so much easier for me to actually get this job done when she was asleep. So go to bed early so you can actually wake up earlier because otherwise it's gonna be pretty hard, and do the most important tasks that you need to do early in the morning, because if you postpone it until you get home after you're tired, you're not you're not gonna do it, bro. So the less distractions there are between you and doing the things that you want, the better it will be for you to actually do it. And this quote I found somewhere, I don't even know who said it, but life is made of days, and days are made of mornings. Win the mornings, and you will win your life. So that's so true, because if you actually think about it, you're gonna say probably, I'm not a morning person, or I'm a night owl, or whatever. But if you actually think about it, when we leave things to the last minute or to the end of the day, it's not the same. We are tired, we don't want to do it, we just say, "Ah, okay, I'm gonna do it tomorrow then." But if you actually wake up and do it, get it done, boom, first thing in the morning, now you have your mind clear, you don't have to think about it anymore because you just got it done. So that's why also people recommend to eat the frog early in the morning. So the first thing that you do when you start your day is to actually do the most difficult task, because that's when your mind is sharper and you're more capable to actually get it done. Because when you're tired, it's not so easy. And also is that when you don't do it first in the morning, you're thinking about it constantly. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. And so you're doing other things, but you are still thinking about something else that you need to do. And every single thing that you do, basically, it's a mediocre level. So it could have been better, but since you were distracted thinking about something else that you needed to do, you didn't perform your best. So attack the dawn. I know that it's not so easy, but if you really want to do something productive with your life, this might be one of the best strategies that you can use. So the same example that we used before with going becoming a YouTuber. So if it's very hard for you to script your videos later at night because your family is distracting you, because you're tired, well then, my friend, wake up half an hour earlier or 1 hour earlier and script your video. So later at night, even if you're tired, since the script is already made, you just need to actually record the video. So attack the dawn, do the hard thing early in the morning, and that'll help you a lot. Set high standards for yourself, obviously. So, but you need to be realistic. Otherwise, you might lose the whole point of this session here. What does having high standards actually look like? Well, it looks like you don't hit snooze 5 times because you respect yourself and you know that you should get up. So you're not gonna hit snooze and hit snooze. Yeah, bro, you're better than that. So that is having high standards, is not doing things that are below your level. So another example, you go to the gym even when you're tired. So if you have low standards for yourself, you might say, I'm tired, I'm not gonna go. Bro, you're better than that. You're gonna go even if you're tired, or especially because you're tired, because now you're using discipline and you're becoming more disciplined. You don't eat just because it's there. You can walk away from situations where you don't need to be. You dress with intention, not for attention, but for self respect. You don't have to wear a lot of expensive clothes, but at least before going out, look yourself in the mirror. Wear something that you're comfortable with. And that way, you're gonna be more confident outside because you're comfortable wearing the clothes that you are wearing. And something else is that, yeah, people will treat you differently by the way that you look. If you look like a homeless person, people will treat you like a homeless person. If you look like someone who's well educated, people will treat you that way. So it's not that we are seeking for attention here, but we respect ourselves and we want other people to respect us. So we need to dress with intention. And you don't tolerate low effort behavior. So doing things just halfway, cutting corners, and sending messages with spelling mistakes, bro, you're better than that. It's not like you're gonna obsess about every single detail, but you're gonna have high standards for you or for yourself. So next section, do your best. How many times have you held back from realizing your full potential, that you knew that you could have done better, but you didn't? You didn't realize your full potential because you didn't want to. Did you do well in school? But did you do your best? I certainly didn't. Did you put the extra effort into the last project that you delivered? Did you? Could it have been better? I mean, was there any possibility that you could have done the project better than? Well, my friend, this is something that you need to start asking yourself, because this is what's gonna set you apart from everyone else, because many people will get something done because they are forced to do it, and they're gonna do a mediocre job and actually deliver it. So do your best. Sometimes we can walk away from it's just good enough. Yeah, sometimes you can walk away with that, but will you walk away with that just like good enough, or you will actually make it good, really good, that people would say, wow, this is a great job. So if you're okay cutting corners, you'll be okay delivering a mediocre job. As we talked about before, have high standards for yourself. Do your best. Do not conform with mediocre jobs, with mediocre people around you, because it's gonna take you to places where you don't actually want to be. I know that, because if you're watching this video, it's because you want to do better in life. So do your best every single time you can. Now, take care of the temple. Now that we talked about doing our best, so it's very hard to do our best if the temple is not well taken care of. So your body is your temple. If your body is weak, you will not be able to work as hard as you want. So eat healthier, work out consistently, and you're gonna be able to do hard work. I mean, you're gonna be able to do things that you might not be able to do right now. So if you want to run a marathon, but your body isn't strong enough, do you think you can do it? If you haven't developed these like stamina to resist the long run, do you think that you're actually gonna complete the marathon? No, you're not gonna do it. You have to train hard. You have to do it consistently. You have to eat well. So when you actually start running the marathon, you have so it's gonna be very more likely that you're actually finish the marathon. So you have to have your body also in a very good shape. A disturbed body will disturb your mind. This is something that I put here because let's say you have an exam, a project, a presentation, or something like that, right? But you ate junk food last night. So now your stomach hurts a lot, and now you feel like going to the bathroom. Do you think that you're gonna perform very well on that exam or on that presentation when you're constantly thinking about, I need to go to the bathroom, I need to run to the bathroom? No, my friend. No, my friend. So even though it doesn't, but because the correlation between those two things might not be so obvious, but just think about it. You have to give a presentation and you put in a lot of effort into actually doing it great. But just because you ate something that you shouldn't have done, you shouldn't have eaten, now your body it's in pain, and now your presentation is gonna be pretty bad because you're constantly thinking about going to the bathroom. You didn't think about that, huh? So I'm telling you this from experience because I'm lactose intolerant, and I would sometimes drink milk, and the next day I would need to deliver a project or something very important, and I performed really bad because I was thinking about going to the toilet rather than just focusing on the task that I had in front of me. So take care of your temple. Next thing, we went through doing the best we can, but do not confuse doing our best with being a perfectionist. Perfectionism is a trap. It is a vice also. Yes, it is a vice. So not doing something because it's not gonna be perfect is one of the worst things that you can actually do. And if you think about it, it's actually stupid. But I've been there. I mean, there's a lot of things that I didn't do just because I said if it's not gonna be perfect, I'm not gonna do it. I'm a perfectionist. I thought that was a good thing. I'm a perfectionist. I don't do things that are not gonna be perfect. Bro, I was just a loser because I didn't do things that I needed to do just because I knew that they weren't gonna be perfect, but they never will. So this video I'm making right now is not gonna be perfect. But what is better for me? Making the video and uploading it or not doing it because it's not gonna be perfect? I think it's pretty obvious. So perfectionism, it's a vice, and it actually leads us to miss opportunities, to not do very well in life, to become procrastinators, because that's a form of procrastination if you didn't know. So what I was doing before, I'm not doing it because it's not gonna be perfect. That's called procrastination, my friend. So start getting things done. We already talked about showing up and just doing things. So getting things done is way better than not doing them because they're not gonna be perfect, because they never will. And the only, well, if you want to get closer to making things perfectly, it's actually by doing them over and over again. How do you become a builder? By building. How do you become more disciplined? By doing disciplined actions every day. So, how do you make the perfect videos? Well, by making a lot of videos, bad videos, over and over again, and trying to improve as much as possible, because we want to do our best. But we don't want our best to be so high. We don't want to have. So remember the part that we talked about setting high standards but being realistic. So perfectionism is one of these things that we need to watch out for. So we want to have high standards, do our best, but we don't want our standards to be so high that we don't actually do anything because they're not gonna be perfect. That's something that is not gonna help you in your journey of becoming more disciplined. Remember that progress matters. So do the same thing, or do the thing that you want to do over and over and over again, trying to improve just a little bit. Just a little bit every single time. And you're gonna see how close you're gonna get to the level that you want to be eventually. Seek discomfort. Many people are so weak nowadays, and I'm not saying it in a insulting way. I'm saying it that I see a lot of people that, man, the first signal that there is something between them and the thing that they want, they quit. Oh, I don't go to the gym because I don't have a new pair of shoes. I don't have the sneakers. Come on, buddy. So challenge yourself. Challenge yourself so you can develop this kind of tolerance to tolerate hard things. So we all want to be more comfortable. Yeah, that's good. Being comfortable is good, but this this comfort actually makes us weaker. Yeah, we become weaker. So let's say I want to do something. I want to record a video, but it is so uncomfortable to sit in front of the camera and actually start talking. So I'm not gonna do it. So how do I actually overcome that discomfort? By doing it, by sitting in front of the camera and talking directly to it. I'm seeking specifically this kind of discomfort because I know that this is something that's gonna stand between me and what I want eventually. So seek discomfort. Try to find what is it standing between you and what you want to do that you are trying to avoid as much as possible, because that tackling that is gonna help you jump into the other side. So some, if you want to become more disciplined, you actually need to start doing things that are, it's like on the gym, in the gym, right, that you are doing progressive overload, that you are constantly lifting heavier weights so you can actually get stronger. So it's the same with the discipline. So you already did the small things, so that you had a lot of dirty dishes in your kitchen and you clean them, you picked up the dirty clothes from the floor, you're making your bed now. Well, now you need to start leveling up. because you don't want to stay in level one, right? You want to become more disciplined and get to higher levels. So expose yourself to challenging things so you can actually develop this tolerance to doing hard things, so you can, I don't know, take cold showers, because there's a lot of resistance between you and actually jumping into the cold water. So I'm not gonna tell you that it's because it's gonna give you a million benefits. No, I don't know about that. I just know that it's hard to actually do it. So by exposing yourself to difficult challenges like this, you are developing tolerance. You can also cold approach a girl. So it's very hard for us sometimes to, go ahead and talk to the girl that we like. But if you actually do it and you do it every day, you're gonna get better at it and you're not gonna even think about it. So I'm telling you for experience, right? I wanted to become more confident and I seek that discomfort specifically. I went ahead and I cold approach a bunch of girls, and now I don't even think about it if I need to do it. If I see a beautiful girl and I want to talk about her, I mean, even and I want to talk to her, it's easy for me. So I just walk and say hello or whatever. And also, running, you can start running an extra mile, an extra, I don't know, some meters or whatever. So if you are on a treadmill, uh, turn up the inclination, turn up the speed or whatever, run faster. So you're actually challenging yourself. Progressive overload, as the example that I used before. So in the gym world, it would be like lifting heavier weights every time that you go to the gym, or not every time, but every other week you lift heavier weights, for example, if you want to get stronger, because eventually you're gonna reach a plateau, right? That's why we want to break free from this plateau. We want to do harder things. We want to be okay with being in discomfort. So this is a pretty good thing about becoming more disciplined, and it's gonna help you a lot if you're actually okay with being in discomfort. Also, you're gonna build more willpower and self-control, and when you expose yourself to doing difficult things. So for example, if you want to to develop more willpower and resistance in actually not doing things that you shouldn't do, you can actually expose yourself on purpose and not doing the thing. So for example, if I have, I don't know, like some craving for an ice cream or whatever, if I challenge myself and I put the thing in front of me, so an ice cream or whatever, and I look at it and I don't eat it, then I'm challenging myself and I'm developing more willpower. So willpower, many people say that it's limited. Yeah, it is definitely limited. You have way less willpower later at night when you are tired than early in the morning. That's why also attacking the dawn is way better for you if you want to do well in life. But the thing is that willpower, for me, I mean, the way I see it is exactly like a muscle. So if you train very hard one day, you're gonna get tired, right? It's the same with willpower. If you use a lot of willpower, you're gonna get tired, you're gonna drain all of your willpower, but you're gonna get better at it. That muscle is gonna get stronger, so you can actually uh, yeah, literally get stronger. So for me, resistant to doing things that I shouldn't be doing, it's way easier than it was before, because even though I drained my willpower when I started living this way, well, actually now I have more willpower, and now it's way easier for me to resist doing things that I should not be doing. So life is not always gonna be easy. Life is gonna throw you life is gonna throw things your way that will deter you from where you wanna go. So you have to be ready. Oh, well, you're gonna give me a second because my throat is dry. Hmm. Okay, keep the main thing the main thing. We often jump from one thing to another, never sticking for long enough to a plan to achieve what we want. So you've been there. I've been there too. So we want to do something, and then later we said, "Oh, actually, it would be better if I do something else." And then now we try to do something else, and we never achieve what we wanted. Why? Because we keep jumping from one thing to another. So keep the main thing the main thing. So remember to have clear goals and to have a why. And now is when that comes in handy, because you cannot keep the main thing if you don't have a clear goal and a clear why. So if the goal was to become fit, if it was to become jacked or more attractive, well, my friend, have that clear, because if you have that as a goal and then you don't even know what you wanted, well, then tomorrow you might start doing something that is totally different, and you never achieve anything because you keep jumping from one thing to another. So you need to watch out also for distractions, because they come disguised as, I mean, yeah, a lot of distractions, they are disguised as opportunities. So you're doing something and a new opportunity comes and somebody tells you, hey, there's a big opportunity. If you start doing this now, you're gonna, you see, and now you start doing something else that wasn't what you planned to do, and now you don't achieve what you wanted. So there's a lot of opportunities, yeah, that might come your way, but a lot of those opportunities are just gonna be distractions disguised as opportunities. So watch out for them. So if you want to keep the main thing, you have to say no to a lot of things, because every yes that you say to something, you're saying no to something else. So if you need to work hard on a new video because you want to become a YouTuber, and now a friend comes and tells you to do something else, and you said yes to them, now you're saying no to your goal of making the video and becoming a YouTuber. So be careful with that. Be careful with what you say yes to, because that might take you away from achieving your goals. So identify your priorities. Again, having clear goals and having a clear why comes really handy, because it lets you identify your priorities, so you actually know what is that you need to be putting all your focus and attention into actually doing. Self-control. Self-control, it's kind of like a combination between discipline and willpower. And it's very important, because if you don't refrain yourself from indulging too much, you're gonna fail, you're gonna lose. And I like this quote. I believe I got it from a book that I was reading a while ago. It's called Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday, and he mentions that no one who's giving himself over to excess is having a good time. Just think about it for a second. No one who's giving himself over to excess is having a good time. Do you play video games? You see that the first hour you are, oh my gosh, it's heaven. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. But after 4 hours, are you having the same joy? Are you enjoying that game so much now? No. Now you keep doing it because it's actually painful to stop doing it, not because you have that desire to actually keep going. So, do you indulge too much? Do you drink a lot of alcohol and now the next day you regret it? Are you having a good time? The gluttons who eat and eat and eat. Who do you think is having a worse life? Them that are eating a lot, enjoying basically eating a lot, or me that I haven't eaten anything yet and I'm totally okay. I mean, I'm so happy. So, giving yourself over to excess is not gonna be a good idea. I'm not saying that you stop living your life. No, you can do whatever you want, but do not try to do do not try to indulge too much. You want to drink a little bit, do it. Now, do will that, because the problem with alcohol is that when you drink a little bit, you will want to drink a lot more. So if you are one of those people that actually want to drink more when they try a little bit, I see it the way I see it. It would be better if you actually don't do it at all. Don't do it at all. But if you can control yourself, if you have self control, that is what I'm teaching you here. then now you can have just a little bit, go home, and keep living your life as you please. But if you cannot control that, if you eat a little bit of pizza and now you eat a lot more, if you eat a lot of junk food, then the next day you know that you're gonna feel miserable. You're gonna feel really bad because you failed to your diet and you wanted to get fit, you wanted to become more attractive, you wanted to have more muscles, but now you did something that is not helpful for achieving your goal. So now you may feel terrible. You may feel really bad. So you need to have self control and don't let your emotions control you, because your emotions are going to tell you that you're hungry, that you need that junk food. But do you really? So we are controlled by our emotions to some level. So we do things because we want to do them. Our emotions are asking us to do things, but you have to be strong enough to resist. Use a lot of willpower too, and resist the temptations. Do not do not give yourself over to excess, because it's not gonna end well. It never does. So you see many examples of celebrities, for example, that they gave themselves over to excess. They started drinking a lot and going out, the partying, living the good life. And what happened to them? They destroyed their lives. So if you're going to, if your mind or your emotions are telling you to do something that you know that you will regret tomorrow, don't do them. It's not a good idea. If you're gonna regret it later, it's not a reward, it's not anything good. So have self-control, take control over your emotions, use a lot of willpower. It's gonna be draining, but a trick that you can use here is actually removing yourself from situations that can make you fail. So for example, if you like a lot eating pizza, or if you like drinking alcohol, what are you doing in a club? What are you doing in, I don't know, in a bar? Bro, remove yourself from that situation, because it's way easier to go to bed without drinking alcohol if you are at home where there is no alcohol around. If you have some tendency to eat a lot of junk food and you are in a supermarket walking on the aisle of the chips and a lot of that, or if you are in front of McDonald's, what do you think is going to happen? It's very hard to control yourself when you are in front of the thing that actually make you fail. So remove yourself from that situation. If you have a lot of junk food in your house, if you have a lot of chips and things like that, or chocolate, so whatever that make you fail on your diet, throw these things away. So it's actually way easier. So we want to become better, we want to develop more willpower, but we don't want to live a miserable life when we are constantly thinking about, should I do it or shouldn't I do it? You know that you shouldn't do it, but if you think about it, you're gonna lose. We already talked about that, so you should know that by heart now. So delay gratification and resist temptations to focus on your goals. So how will you achieve your goals if you can control your desires, if you can control yourself, and if you fail to resist to temptations? It's gonna be hard. So again, as I put here, you need to use a lot of willpower. It's not gonna be easy, but it's gonna be worth it. Habits. One of the best things that you can start developing, that you can start doing now on this phase, is actually to develop new and better habits and getting rid of bad ones. And getting rid of bad ones is actually the first step, I would say, in terms of habits, because I don't see the point in actually start doing a lot of good things now, but you keep doing the bad things. So you go a step forward, but then when you do the bad thing, you go a step backward, and you end up where exactly where you started. The good offsets the bad. So if you're doing something good for you and something bad for you, you're gonna end up right in the middle, or sometimes even actually more to the bad side. So be careful with that. So how do you remove a bad habit? Well, the best way, I would say, that it's not actually to remove it, but to replace it. So let's say, for example, you scroll a lot on TikTok, social media, when you get home. So you scroll for hours. Well, instead of just quitting the habit and not doing it, I would say that it's way better to replace the habit. So if you, let's say, for example, I play a lot of video games and I stop playing video game and I don't do anything on those hours that I used to play video games. Well, now, my friend, when I'm bored and it's been 2 days without it, I'm gonna start doing the bad habit again because I didn't feel the time doing something else. So instead of just removing the bad habit, replace it. So now, instead of playing video games, for example, I would read a book, I would go out, I would go to the gym. So do something, do especially do a better habit. Start developing something that can help you get closer to your goal. So replace it. Do not let that time empty because you are gonna get bored and you're gonna start falling back into the bad habit, which, while may feel comfortable now, lead to nowhere. So be careful with that. Do not remove the habit, just replace it. So now you don't scroll on social media. Well, now you can start listening to audiobooks. You can start reading a book. You can start drawing paintings. You can start, I don't know, learning how to edit videos or whatever. So whatever it is that it is a bad habit for you, replace it with a better one. I'll make a full guide on habits because you know that if you really want to be successful, if you have a lot of successful habits, you will be more successful. So that's why habits are so important, and I want to make a full guide on this later. So if you're liking this one, you're gonna like the one about habits too. So I will do it eventually, but I need to study a lot because I want to do it so good that it's actually gonna help other people. Failure is not failure. Hey, this is a very good one. Forgive me, my throat is dry again. Hmm. No one is perfect. You removed a bad habit, you started doing your best, but eventually you're gonna fail. You're gonna fall back into doing things that you should not be doing. But what do most people do? Well, they said, "Oh, I failed. I'm not good for this," and they quit. No, bro, you have high standards now. You know that you're better than that. So when you fail, you just get back up. So, will you get back up? I certainly will. If I fail, I'm not gonna stay on the ground. I'm gonna stand back up. And I want to tell you about this person. Floyd Patterson is a good example of this. He became the youngest boxer in history to actually win the title of the world heavyweight champion. And he also was the first heavyweight to regain the title after losing it. So basically, when a heavyweight champion loses his title, the career is done, finished. He doesn't regain it back ever again. But this guy, he was the exception to that. He actually regained the title after losing it. Well, it's a pretty good story. I'm not gonna tell it completely, but he did. He actually, after a loss, you don't feel great. You feel terrible. You feel a lot of shame. You feel like a disgrace. So it's really hard to get back up on track and becoming a champion again. But he did, and actually he did it because a someone that he beat it before send him a letter because that person obviously understood how losing feels like, and he sent them a letter telling him that he knows how it feels when they lose. So he just needs to stand back up, and yeah, he did, and he became more disciplined again because he had lost his discipline because he was already a champion, right? So he was so confident, and he wasn't as disciplined as he needed to be, so he lost. But then he became more disciplined again. He started working very hard, and he regained the title. So it's a pretty good story, so you might want to read it or find it somewhere else. But this is a representation that failure is not failure. Sometimes you're gonna fail, but a lot of the time it's just to show you that you need to be stronger. So if you don't face challenges, then that means that you're not gonna get any better. Oh, and I want to make another analogy here, and is that I read once that a book from this guy, it's Oswald Spengler. He studied the 21 great empires and found that every society starts out small, right? And as it starts out and as it grows a little bit, it faces challenges, difficulties. Sometimes nature, sometimes the weather, sometimes an outside enemy. But as the society face and respond to the challenge effectively, then the society grows. As it grows, it faces more challenges, more difficulties, and if the society actually respond to the challenges effectively, then the society grows some more. So the reason why this analogy is so important is that we as human beings, we are exactly the same. So as we face challenges effectively, we grow, so we become better. So the way or the reason why I'm here right now where I'm at is because I faced so many challenges effectively that I actually grew so big that actually those challenges are not even challenges to me right now. So the more challenges you face, the obviously the stronger you will be, the better you will be, and the more capable you will be to actually solving problems. So don't be afraid to lose. You're gonna lose, yeah, but sometimes it's actually to make you stronger. So stand back up and keep going. Now let's talk about money, because we want to become more disciplined because we want more money. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. We're not gonna pretend here that we are like monks that we don't need money. No, we do, and we want them. And I do want money too. But money is dangerous. Money can be a tool, but it can be a tool for actually, I don't know, destroy our lives. So the good thing about money is that, well, money doesn't buy you happiness directly, but it buys you freedom, and freedom is a indispensable requirement for happiness. So if you want to be happy, freedom is one of the things that you be looking for, and money can buy you that. But sometimes in the pursuit of money, we actually become slaves of money. And we have here, I put this so we have, like, it's like a spectrum, right? So on one end we have someone who's extremely frugal, so he's so afraid of spending money and money, and it's keeping every single penny that he found, and he doesn't like to spend money. He's a slave. He doesn't have any freedom of thought. He only do things to avoid spending money. He wants to do something, but when he remembers that it's gonna make him lose money, then he won't do it. So he doesn't have freedom of thought. Unfortunately, money or lack of money has that guy enslaved. Now, on the other end, we have a reckless person that is not afraid of spending money, but that person spends money so recklessly that he loses everything. So it doesn't matter how much money he makes. He has a lifestyle now that he can keep up with. So he spends so much money. He starts living the good life and spending here and there. And that example you can see with people who win lotteries. So you see that they are not prepared and they don't know. They become slaves of money and they start spending a lot of money until eventually they got nothing. So there is two extreme of that, obviously, and we want to be kind of like in the middle, where we don't spend a lot of money on things that we don't need, but it's not like we are so afraid of actually spending money. So we spend money wisely, basically, and we complace ourselves. Well, I don't know. I believe that you should understand me now. You know that my English is not at the grade because you've been listening to me for a while, but I know that you understand me. So you're gonna be like filling the gaps when I want try to do something and I don't say it as I want. But so you don't want to be so frugal that you are afraid of spending money, but you don't also want to be on the other end that you're spending money like crazy. So you, yeah, if you want to have fun someday, yeah, you're gonna spend a little bit. So that's why you need to make money and use money to live a good life, but not living the good life where spending money is the only objective. So it's gonna be a pretty good way of destroying your life if you do that. Now, a good question that I love asking myself sometimes to keep myself in track is, what would you do if you had $1 million? What would you do? Will you keep doing the good habits, or will you start living the good life? Because many people do that. They work so hard, they are so disciplined, but when they get the success, when they get the money, all the good habits gone. Now they start living the good life. You see that example with many celebrities that they work so hard to achieve the success. And when they do achieve the success, what do they start doing? Well, they start going out, buying this, buying that, spending a lot of money in luxury things, and unfortunately, they destroy their careers. We see that everywhere. We see that all the time. Many people are not strong enough. They don't have the self control to actually keep the money once they get it. So, if you are following this guide, you want to be more disciplined, you want to have better habits, so you have to keep them once you achieve your goals. Otherwise, it's gonna be like Floyd Patterson, that he lost because once he achieved the success, he became less disciplined. So you gotta keep going. Fortunately, he got up and got back on track, but many people don't. After they lose, because they achieved the success that they wanted, they basically become the worst version of themselves, and they end up losing everything. Sorry about that. Okay, now we talked about money. Now let's talk about also success, because success brings distractions. So discipline leads me talking about distraction. You hear that? Oh my gosh. Well, discipline leads discipline leads you to success, and success comes with a lot of distractions that can make you lose the success. Well, let's use this as an example. You wanted to become more attractive. You wanted to, I don't know, get leaner and get fit. And so you start working very hard. You start developing good habits. You start eating well. You start going to the gym and you get a lot stronger. And now you've become way more attractive, right? Because, well, you worked very hard. You were so disciplined that you achieved what you wanted. What happens then? Well, you become more attractive and now you attract a bunch of girls. Now your dream has come a reality. Now your dreams have come a true reality. What happens? Well, he's now already attractive and now a lot of girls are paying attention to him. So now he doesn't go to the gym anymore. Same thing that we were talking about earlier about disciplined people that achieved the success and then they lost everything because they stopped doing the disciplined actions that actually got them there in the first place. So it's the same thing that can happen when you achieve success, bro. If you stop doing the good habits that actually got you there, you're gonna lose everything. So you should watch out for this because discipline will help you become a successful person. But when you become successful, you will get a lot of distraction. A lot of distraction will come your way. If you're making now way more money, a lot of people will want to be friends with you. You're gonna gain more friends, more girls, more everything, and you're gonna uh, somehow lose track. You're gonna forget your why. You're gonna start indulging too much, and well, since you didn't have enough willpower and self-control to actually refrain from doing those things, so now you lose everything. So discipline will help you gain the success, and success will come with a lot of distractions that will make you lose the success. Baby, please let me work. Okay, let me work, please. Me talking about distractions and see what I have here. Anyway, tolerant with others. strict with yourself. Take responsibility of your life and take ownership of your actions. This is something very important, right? So you want to get better, you want to be your own father, basically. You want to take care of yourself. You want to own your mistake. You want to own your responsibility. So it's very important. But unfortunately, you cannot control what other people do. So if you have a girlfriend, a wife, spouse, whatever, they might don't want to be so disciplined. They might want to have fun from time to time. So if you want to achieve better things, so you quit alcohol, you quit eating sugar, junk food, and all of that. But if your partner or some member of your family, they don't want to do so, bro, it's not up to you to change them. You cannot change anybody. They might say that, they might agree, but they will not do it if it's not their own decision. And even if you force somebody to change, they will resent you for making them change because you see the potential in them, right? You want to help them. But unfortunately, they don't have the same standards that you have now. Now you have high standards, but they don't. They like wasting time scrolling. They waste time going out to parties. Now you don't do that because your goals are bigger than that. But other people might not understand it that way. So expect good things from you. Do your best. Set high standards, but do not expect the same from others. This will definitely make you unhappy because you'll constantly be thinking about helping others and helping this out. She's gonna change, she's gonna change, I will help her. That's a free ticket to destruction that you're taking right now. So be strict with yourself, stick to the good habits, do not expect the same from others. So you want to be strict, but not with other people, only to yourself. Let others do what they want. You can only control your actions, no other people's action. So self-discipline has a self for a reason, because it's self, it's for our own. You can be disciplined, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna change other people. Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable, no other people. And the only way that I think that you can help other people is actually by setting the example. So you want to go to the gym and you start going and you start losing weight. Now some member of your family, some friends of yours, now they start seeing your change, and now they might ask you, hey, what are you doing? I want to do the same thing that you're doing. And now they might start wanting to change and they might ask you for advice. Now is the time when you can actually help them. But if they didn't ask you for anything, bro, do not even try. Tolerant with others, strict with yourself. And now you might be wondering, when do I reward myself? The good question, where every single one of us, or almost every single one of us, actually fails. Because we do things because we want to achieve something, but once we achieve it, we want to reward ourselves, and we end up losing everything. So we talked about all of that. So it should be common sense right now for you. But discipline is actually the reward. Discipline is the ultimate act of self-love. Because let's say, for example, you want to reward yourself and you want to drink alcohol, but all the progress you made in the gym, your diet, and every single thing that you made the last week now is completely lost because you indulge too much, you drink a lot of alcohol, and now you regret your actions, you feel like shit the next day, you have this hangover, and now you feel miserable. Was that really a reward? Or was it a punishment? Now you eat a lot of junk food and you feel sad because now you're getting fat again after losing all the weight. Was that a reward or was it a punishment? Whereas if you are disciplined and you want to indulge in those bad habits, you want to eat a lot of junk food and you don't do it because you have a lot of self-control now, you're disciplined, do you think the next day you're gonna regret that? you never regret being disciplined, but you will regret indulging too much into bad habits. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do anything. So before I finish this, let me show you this. This is me having a pizza. Bro, we need to reward ourselves, right? But I have a lot of self control now. I can control myself. I can buy that pizza and not eat the whole thing. I can eat just 2 or 3 slices of pizza. I have self control. I have a lot of willpower. So I can do things. I can reward myself and put a stop. And so that was last night, literally. That was last night. And I don't regret doing it. Why? Because I didn't indulge too much, I didn't overeat, and I feel great now. So, discipline is the ultimate act of self love because when you become disciplined, you can actually do a little bit of the things that you like, even though they're not so good for you, but you can do just a little bit to get all the benefits, but not the downsides. So, I didn't have any downside from eating a little bit of pizza yesterday because I didn't eat too much of it. And I had a lot of fun with my daughter, the same daughter, I mean, the same person that has been distracting me the whole time here in this lesson. So sorry about that. And sometimes I just go out with her. That's the way that I reward myself sometimes. But again, discipline is the reward. So the reward is not destroying all the progress that you did the last 2 weeks by just going out and drinking a lot of alcohol or eating a lot of junk food. No, bro, that is not the reward. If you that might be the this might be the part where you want to click off the video if you haven't done it already, because you want to reward yourself. You want to live the good life, but you're gonna end up regretting it eventually, and you're gonna notice that if you are disciplined, you're not gonna regret actually refraining yourself from not doing the things that you should not be doing, but you will always love doing the things that you know you should be doing. So after recording this video that it's taking me hours, I believe, now, I'm gonna feel so proud of me. What do you think is gonna be like a better reward for me than just making this full guide? I don't think anything in the world right now could actually make me happier than putting this piece of uh, uh, piece of job that I've done here out. I don't think so. Being disciplined is actually the reward. And it's not about stop living your life, it's about enjoying it without becoming a slave of your desires. So, yeah, you can fulfill your desires sometimes, but do not become a slave of them. I already showed you. So from time to time, I will do things that I should not be doing. But it's okay if you actually are so disciplined that you can do a little bit without becoming a slave. That doesn't control me. I can do almost whatever I want, and those cravings do not control my life. So, discipline is not about being joyless, it's about creating a balance to enjoy life while also staying committed to your goals. Because the problem is that when you reward yourself, often it leads you to actually stop following your goals, or it takes you away from fulfilling your goals and fulfilling your potential. Sorry about that again. So, discipline is about that. It's about enjoying your life, but also staying committed to your goals. So, discipline is the ultimate act of self love. I'm gonna repeat it again because if you take anything out of this guide, is that little part here, because every time that you're gonna remember to be more disciplined, you might be like, no, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. But if you remember that every single time that you're disciplined, you're actually exerting like self-love, you're gonna feel so proud about it. Now, it's not like I'm happy every single time that I make my bed, but I remember that I'm actually exerting self-love, and now I that puts a smile on my face. And if this helps any person, if at least one person tells me that from this guy they learned something, it's gonna be so good for me. So the only way that I know that this has helped anybody is if somebody leaves a like or something like that, or a comment. I'm gonna feel so great. Why? Well, because, bro, that's disciplined. I mean, it's not like I'm seeking validation. It's that I want to help people, and I'm putting all myself here on the line to do it. And this act of discipline just makes me feel really good. And be careful with the reward, because it actually might be a punishment. So, as we said before, going out to drink a lot of alcohol, is it a reward or is it a punishment? Because the next day you might feel like shit, you might lose 2 weeks or 3 weeks of progress, and now the next week actually is gonna be worse because now you have the hangover, you cannot go to the gym that day, you can't work as hard as you could have. So, is it a reward or is it a punishment? Only you know the answer to that. But you will never regret being disciplined. Never. Same picture again. And that's so what we covered in this video is basically every single thing that I know about discipline. So remember every single thing that we talked about here, and you're gonna achieve your goals, period. Because every single time that I do something to become more disciplined, that I exert discipline, I achieve what I want. So I'm gonna have to leave you right now. My daughter is calling me again, and I already showed you every single thing that I know about discipline, and that I know that this can help you. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that it's been helpful for you, and well, take care, my friend. Bye bye.